Teste, teste. Teste, teste. Como eu sou burro. Pera aí. Agora tá com som, né, Gorgo? Obrigado, mano. Ué, eu acho que eu fiz o contrário. Acho que eu tava sem som, eu tirei. Quer dizer, tava com som, eu tirei. Bom, vamos começar de novo então, né? Sejam todos muito bem-vindos a mais uma live aqui no canal. Pra quem não me conhece, sou o Palapão Gamer. Estou no canal no YouTube e Twitch, youtube.com/Palapão Gamer, twitch.tv/Palapão Gamer, na qual estou transmitindo essa live no momento. E hoje senhoras e senhores, é dia finalmente do anúncio da expansão, da nova expansão do World of Warcraft. Então, vamos lá. Tá bom o som do jogo, Gorgo? Opa! Já temos um seguidor, valeu aí, Geminós. Lembrando, pessoal, que começa às 13 horas, tá? Ó, eu já coloquei aqui, eu vou colocar de novo pra vocês verem, ó. Já coloquei aqui. Deixa eu até tirar o negócio do Pix aqui, ó, pra vocês verem melhor. Já até coloquei aqui, ó. Opa, parece que vai começar, deixa eu ver. Tá ao vivo aqui, peraí. Deixa eu ver. Já está ao vivo já, hein, gente? Já está ao vivo. Já está ao vivo aqui, deixa eu ver aqui. Vou até aumentar aqui. Tá sem som por enquanto. Já estamos ao vivo já. Então, por enquanto, gente, eu vou deixar assim, tá? Daqui a pouco, quando começar a aparecer alguma coisa, eu vou colocar aqui pra vocês, tá? E aí, galera? Opa! Peraí que alguém... Opa! Aí, Geminós se inscreveu na Twitch. Valeu aí, Geminós. Será que é dragões mesmo? Ô, Fernando, tá tudo indicando que é do dragões, né? Tem muito vazamento pra não ser, né? Eu vou voltar aqui o... Vou fazer assim, ó. Vou voltar aqui o Pix, né? Pra quem quiser ajudar o canal aí. Quando chegar na hora que ele for anunciar, eu vou tirar, tá? Pra vocês verem completo. Aliás, acho que eu vou tirar tudo. A Facecam e o Pix. Aí a gente vai ver ou não. Ah, não. Vou tirar só o Pix. A Facecam eu vou deixar. Ah, é você que é o Geminós? Brigadão, Fernando. Quem puder aí, gente, se inscreve no YouTube e segue na Twitch. E quem puder mais ainda, faz que nem o Fernando. Se inscreve lá na Twitch com o seu Amazon Prime, tá? Opa, Fernando aí, Fernandão, valeu por se inscrever. Me diga que o Surra no PC tá ativo. Deixa eu ver. O I, jogador versus jogador. Contém da Surra no PC, tá ativo, ó. Tá ativo. Gente, deixa eu fazer uma coisa rapidinho aí. Enquanto isso, vão mandando suas perguntas, seus palpites. Deixa eu escrever aqui. Qual servidor que eu jogo? Asralon. Jogo no Asralon, Fernandão. Tô com uma mania de botar aumentativo em todo mundo, né? Vamos lá. Deixa eu colocar aqui. Dei uma divulgada. Deixa eu dar mais uma olhada aqui pra ver se apareceu alguma coisa aqui. Bom, não apareceu nada. Já tem, ó. Deixa eu colocar pra vocês verem aqui. Já tem 25 mil pessoas aqui, ó, pra ver o anúncio na Twitch. Isso só na Twitch, hein? Deixa eu colocar aqui no YouTube. Vai que dá ruim no... Ih, rapaz. Pera aí. No YouTube parece que não tá online ainda. Ah, tá. No YouTube tá como estreia. 12h49, ou seja, daqui 1 minuto. Vou deixar os dois, porque vai que dá ruim em um, né? Já tem um outro aqui. Estou na área 52. É, tem muito BR na área 52, gente. Não sei porquê, mas tem. Bom, deixa eu ir indo lá na Zerete Morte, se bem que não vai dar nem tempo, né? Faltam 10 minutos. O que eu vou fazer em Zerete Mortes? Passamos os 300 seguidores lá na Twitch, hein, gente? Muito obrigado mesmo. Aliás, passamos os 300 na Twitch, passamos os 2.000 no YouTube, né? Rumo a 3, né? Rumo a 3.000. Porque a H é boa na área 52. É verdade. Vou pegar já a missão aqui. Pegar a missão semanal.
É um porvir sombrio.
Vamos lá, vamos lá. Pessoal, já vou por lá, tá? É só estou esperando começar. Enquanto isso, vamos dizer dos mortos aqui. Quem puder compartilhar a live aí já ajuda bastante. Lembrando que depois do anúncio, galera, a gente vai conversar um pouquinho sobre o que foi passado. Opa! Opa! Entrou música, entrou música. Entrou música. Entrou. Ah, o stream começa em 9 minutos. Deixa eu ver o negócio, peraí. Nova expansão, ô Nilson. Tá escrito novas? Deixa eu ver. Eu escrevi errado? Deixa eu ver. Não, eu escrevi certo. Eita, olha a musiquinha, rapaz. Tá, gente, faltam 8 minutos. Então, enquanto isso, vamos continuar aqui jogando um pouquinho. Essa música já é da live, viu, gente? Eu adoro novas expansões. Ah, eu também, né? Só que no caso do WoW, a gente sempre fica na expectativa de que vai ser o que a gente sempre quis, né? Ah, essa música não, velho. Pô, essa música não, Blizzard. Você acabou de matar o Lich King de uma forma besta. Vai colocar essa música aí, pô? Eita, nós. Vamos lá, deixa eu ver quanto tem falta. 5 minutos, 6 minutos, quer dizer. Ah, tiraram. Vejo apenas falta de criatividade. O controle tem que ser mantido. E sempre que haver um personagem de Warcraft 3 para virar vilão. O problema é que nem tudo que a gente quer a gente vai conseguir que a Blizzard faça, né? Vamos lá. Tó, 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 tó. 4 minutos. Tá, eu vou colocar a contagem regressiva aqui, senão vou colocar aqui, peraí. Ah, já tá, né? Vamos lá, vai. Deixa eu colocar aqui por inteiro. Agora vai, gente, agora vai. Aí, Highlander. 3 minutos. É hoje, hein, gente? É hoje. Eu acho assim, depois de 2 expansões meio ruins, se eles lançarem uma terceira ruim, a Microsoft vai ter muito trabalho para recuperar. Então eles têm que lançar uma expansão melhor que Shadowlands. Não precisa ser exatamente digamos assim, nossa, top, porque nós sabemos que essa expansão agora não vai ser totalmente top, né? Mas pelos rumores, se for a julgar pelos rumores, e aí, Gucena, se for a julgar pelos rumores, a expansão vai ser melhor que o Shadowlands, né? Aliás, bem melhor, né? Se for julgar pelos rumores. Se os rumores não forem verdade, aí nós estamos lascados, gente. E agora vai, hein, gente? Vou tirar o Pix aqui, vou tirar o Pix, cadê? Pronto, tirei. Agora vai. 1 minuto e meio. Será que já vai entrar direto o trailer assim? Se entrar direto o trailer e for épico, vai ser... Vixe, velho. Vou colocar lá na... Aqui, pra eu ver. Vamos lá. Pegar uma pastilha. Nessa live aqui não vai ter suco de laranja, né? Senão eu vou ficar cagando na tapioca. Agora vai. 40 segundos. Vamos. Deixa eu parar de bater na mesa, senão vai ficar rolando os detalhes aí. Vamos lá, vamos lá. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ixi, vai lá. Ixi, já vai começar com o trailer. Ué? Como assim? Ah, tá. Pera aí, deixa eu ver uma coisa, gente. Tá, isso aí é só eles lembrando.
For the Alliance! For Azeroth!
Ixi, os fãs do Varen agora devem ter ficado.
Hi, everyone. I'm John Haidt, General Manager for Warcraft, and with me today are my friends Ian Hazacostas, who is the Game Director for World of Warcraft,
Ih,
and
eu acho que não tem legenda
who leads
em...
up the production team for WoW Classic. I really
Deixa eu ver se tem
appreciate you
legenda
tuning
aqui.
in. I know we're really excited to be able to give you updates on what's happening in World of Warcraft. But first,
deixa eu
I
ver.
want to thank our community for
Deixa eu ver
all
se
the
tem no
feedback you've
YouTube,
given us
gente.
this year. And especially our community council. You've helped shape
Não
and
tem legenda no
influence
YouTube,
the
gente.
updates that we've done recently and what you're going to see in the upcoming year.
I mean, really, for Shadowlands in particular,
Vou deixar em
the
inglês
story
mesmo.
of the last 9 months or so of this expansion is all about the community, and it's shaped by what we've been hearing from them, and us realizing as a team that we just collectively needed to do a better job of making sure the community felt heard, and so that led
Falei
us to
pra
the
vocês
change
que era
we made in
gravado?
915, but also
Eu acertei, hein?
re-examining some of the assumptions and foundations of
Falei
World
pra
of
vocês que era
Warcraft
gravado.
about things like character investment and mains versus alts, or how catch-up should work, or the appropriate role of friction in our systems.
Deixa eu tirar a legenda,
And I
gente.
think 915 represented a step in the direction of letting players have more freedom to play World of Warcraft the way they want to play it. And we really built our Eternity's End content update from the ground up around those principles.
What are some of the things that the community said that influenced your decisions for Eternity's End?
Pois é, né?
Things like the method and pacing of acquisition of the Covenant Legendary
Deixa eu ver
item,
se eu consigo
tons of
ver se não tem
tuning, and
legenda mesmo.
every step of the way, we were listening to make sure that we were carrying forward those lessons learned in the course of 915 into Eternity's End and beyond.
So WoW Classic came about because of the community.
Yeah, they continue to help guide and support us as Classic evolves.
World of Warcraft has always been
Basicamente eles estão
about
falando,
the
acho que
world and
do
the players
Shadowlands
being
agora,
covered.
não?
And we are in a lot of ways curators and caretakers of that journey and of that experience.
Onde tem
And
legenda em
once
português?
this classic community formed and grew, we had to listen to them.
It's this tide
Aonde,
of
aonde,
listening
aonde?
to the community and paying attention
Eu
to
não
what
achei
is
no
a
YouTube
good
também.
experience for our players now.
Deixa eu ver aqui.
And where we really saw a sea change in this idea is with our Season of Mastery realm, which is a season of fresh start classic. And initially we were talking about it like it was going to be like a fresh start. Let's try this experiment in a season. It'll be about a year long. And then when the community found out about it, we started seeing
That we've seen communities built around,
Yeah.
lots of,
Achei.
victory and painful defeat.
5 hours. I made it 5 hours.
Não tem, eu não achei na Twitch. A gente vai assistir pelo
We
YouTube.
wanted to balance the Paladin seals between Horde and Alliance, so we made an addition there. We wouldn't have gotten there without the community's input.
So, influence the community. You've got another update and pretty significant controversial change
Gente,
for this.
tá bom som aí pra vocês?
Coming in 925, which is on our public test realm now as a big
Ian,
centerpiece.
Cross Faction. You're breaking with a 17-year tradition.
Yeah, it's something. It was not an easily made decision by any means, and I think this is another one of those areas where really we try to take to heart community feedback and requests and ask ourselves as a team whether there's a way to accommodate such an earnestly held desire.
Tira
and
sua
still
janela
feel
na hora
like
de
we're being true
cinemática.
to the roots of the game. I think players' desire to play with their friends.
Vou tirar.
who might prefer
tirar.
a different faction, or to play with the faction that they more closely identify with,
Deixa
even
só.
though their raid group is elsewhere.
It's really important for me. I play a lot of alts, and I love absorbing the story for each race, and having that ability to play
sim,
with
né?
all of my
Tá, vou
friends
tirar.
across factions is fantastic.
At the end of the day, the battle cry is for the Horde. It's not against the Alliance. It's not death to the Alliance. It's about pride in one's faction. And I think there's a way to preserve that and even strengthen that while giving players the ability to make the same choice we've seen the greatest heroes make time and time again.
I can't wait to do this. I'm seeing a lot of my friends that I never knew had a max level character in the other faction suddenly come out of the woodwork.
And then, with these cross-faction groups, many of them are going to be diving into something new that we're doing to kind of cap off Shadowlands, a Season 4. Kind of a remix of a bit of a greatest hits, revisiting all of our raid zones across the expansion, bringing in some.
Eles foram espertos, eles vão deixar pro fim a.
And we recognize this is kind of a closing chapter, a little bit of a send-off to Shadowlands. As everyone gets ready for what happens next, what will come next, want to give a fun new challenge for everyone to sink their teeth into.
Really cool stuff for modern WoW players. I'm super excited about the gear upgrades that you're going to give me and the chance to go back and play some of those awesome raids.
There's a lot to explore. Very exciting.
For our next adventure in World of Warcraft,
Opa,
we're going to go back to Azeroth.
Ih, olha lá, voltamos para Azeroth.
Space with high fantasy. I mean, our fans of Azeroth for a long time. This has been kind of the foundation of much of the lore of WoW. So, without further ado, let's watch the cinematic.
Opa, cinematic. Agora vai. Vamos lá, gente. Há 1000 anos? Eita.
The world has been sundered. It cries out in pain. We must go to its aid. We entrust our ancestral home to you, the Watchers. Let the land slumber, hidden even from our own eyes.
Ixi, eles pararam o mundo.
Our return in the waking of the land. Then you must light the beacon of Tearhold, lest the path home be lost to us forever.
Ué, mas onde tá esse cara aí que eu não vi em Azeroth? Ih, o outro tá com a cabeça quebrada. Será que não é sobre dragões? Ó, é o jogo, é a cinemática que tá tremendo, viu, gente? Ih, eu acho que todo mundo errou, hein? Será que não é dragões mesmo, velho? Ih, rapaz, eu acho que é sobre os Old God, hein? Ué, dormiu de novo? Não. Caramba, o cara precisa escalar, por que ele não voa? É, mas esses aí são mais old ainda, né? Eita, o Hércules. Ih, já era, vai se despedaçar. Ah, rapaz! E não é que é sobre dragões mesmo? Pô, a Blizzard trollou a gente, hein? Com esse início aí.
The world is healing, but her fate is yet uncertain. Together, we shall be Azeroth's protectors once again. Here, the new age of dragons shall begin.
Porra, mano. Meu Deus. Vazamentos estavam certos.
Dragons!
Dragons.
This is so cool.
No one saw it coming.
No one saw it coming. Carefully kept secret. But seriously, I mean, what did we just see there?
The awakening of the Dragon Isles, the return of dragons, the dawn of a new age. We've seen Rathian searching for his father's legacy, searching for the Dragon Isles. There's a reason why he hasn't been able to find them until now.
The beacon going off, is that summoning the dragons?
It is removing the concealment that had hidden the Dragon Isles from the world, but also beckoning the dragons back urgently in a time of need.
I assume pretty good variety of locales within the Dragon Isles?
Yes, the Dragon Isles, as kind of standard for WoW expansion,
No.
consist of 5 zones.
Dragonflight.
4 standard leveling
Dragon
zones,
Knight.
And a new starter zone that we'll get to in a second.
Ó,
Can you talk
quatro
a
novas
little bit about
zonas.
how the team found ways to
Quatro
thread
novas
the
zonas
dragon
iniciais.
aspects throughout the environments?
The Dragon Isles are a place that is lush and primal, bursting with elemental energy. As
Falei que o
herself
gráfico não ia mudar,
reawakens,
gente?
Those primal forces are expressed throughout the environment, whether it's magma activity, volcanic activity, whether it's the icy wastes of the Azure Span, and each one of those has a connection to a dragonflight that we've seen before. And it's going to be an amazing place for players to arrive at and explore.
All right, you know I'm going to ask.
Yes, okay, so
Can I be a dragon?
let's start getting into some features
Opa,
here.
vamos lá,
What
recursos.
Dragonflight means for you as well as just a place. So first off, yes, we have an all-new
Ih,
playable
rapaz,
race,
nova raça.
the Drakthir race.
Yeah.
This is a
Drak race.
Draken, a draconic race, but
Olha lá.
dragons in Warcraft have the ability to take on a humanoid
Eita.
form.
Eita,
What classes can they be?
They have unique abilities as literally a dragon. That doesn't quite fit any of our existing classes. And so what we're doing is this is not just a new race, but it's also a new class. Adding a new race to World of Warcraft, and not just an allied race, is something that we don't do lightly, but telling this expansion, this story, so focused around dragons, felt like the perfect time for it. So if you are a Drakthir, you will be the Evoker class.
Drakthir
can only be Evokers, Evokers can only be Drakthir. And the reason why only a Drakthir could be an Evoker is that an Evoker is really combining the ability to call upon the magic of the different aspects with the unique physical gifts that a Drakthir has, the ability to actually take flight and do an Onyxia-style strafing deep breath over the battlefield, land on the other side, knock everyone back with a wing buffet, and then unleash your magical abilities.
Yes, please.
The Evoker
Mais
has
que
two
pode voar.
specializations. They're a hybrid of either ranged DPS or healer, and they wear mail armor. We figured, with the new hero classes
usam malha, hein?
added over the years, we have enough melee, we don't need more of those. And also probably don't need any more leather wearers.
The raid leaders are going to love you for that.
Exactly. This is definitely a hero class. And so that means that, like the Death Knights before them or Demon Hunters, they will be starting level 58, and then they're going to have a new starter zone. So they're going to have a slightly different journey into the Dragon Isles as opposed to the rest of us that are sailing there from other parts of Azeroth.
Can you talk a little bit about the customizations? Like what is going to be able to identify?
Aí, gente, já tem mais chapa aí pro 60,
anything
hein?
and everything. You know, skin color, hair color, jewelry, tattoos, other adornments. You can make this character the expression of your identity in Azeroth.
New zone, new class,
Yep.
new race. Well, tell us about some of the system updates or features.
So, of course,
Yeah,
a new
vamos lá.
expansion brings with it, new systems, new features. I think in recent expansions, one of the things we've tended to do is really have these deep features that were closely tied to a specific expansion that would then get left behind as we moved on. And we've heard loud and clear from players
Ouvimos
that,
jogadores, hein?
it's kind of a bummer to start off every new expansion by leaving a large part of your character behind, leaving a large part of your progression behind. So this time around, what we're doing is really pouring all of our energy into permanent revamps, overhauls, and improvements to World of Warcraft's core systems. Things like our progression systems, in this case, our talent system is something that we want to completely revamp. We want to take a look at our UI. We want to take a look at professions.
So with the talent revamp and the arrival of Classic, did you learn anything about how our talents work?
I think seeing a new generation of players play with those talents and work through those talent trees
tipo de
really
wording
underscored
com
some of the
DH.
things that frankly we lost when we shifted to the Mists of Pandaria style talents and beyond. A big piece of that was some of just the granularity, the feeling of getting a level and spending a point to customize your character to make yourself a bit better in some specific way. But also, that sense of hybridity that you could have. That's something that we've largely lost. And so the new talent system avoids directly
rapaz,
pitting player power throughput choices directly against those sort of utility hybrid choices, because we know that there's always a right outcome there. And we also understand that there's a lot of strength in the flexibility of the modern talent system to let players customize their talents for a particular encounter or for dungeons versus PvP, and we don't want to lose any of that.
So John, UI?
Oh my God. Yes, I got this 30-inch monitor trying to keep track of where I am on the map, all my buffs, and over here,
eu
what's
só
going
tenho-
on in chat.
só tenho
It is
monitor de
literally made
1080.
my eyes go like this. So,
You're not alone in that. We've made a lot of incremental changes and additions over the years, but really this is a revamp, this is an overhaul. And so we're excited to really modernize the look and feel while staying true to the
Vai me dizer que eles mudaram a engine,
World of
duvido.
Warcraft. Now, at the same time, we're not looking to take away the sort of power user customization there. Add-ons are still there if you want them, but we want
Retorno
a
da
much
árvore de
better default
talentos.
out-of-the-box experience for all players, new and old alike.
and can I reduce elements, remove elements, if I want to explore the world and see the beauty of Azeroth?
Ah,
To specific elements,
rapaz.
as much as possible, we want to let players choose what to show.
Vocês viram
what to
isso daí?
hide,
Vai ser
so that they
personalizável
can
a barra
control it
de
themselves.
You
habilidade.
mentioned professions. I have a critical question about this.
Go on.
Can I wear a chef's hat?
Yeah, I knew it.
Ih, posso usar chapéu.
Our approach to professions in Dragonflight is really all about delivering on fantasy and identity as a crafter. And so if you want to be a
Ah lá,
serious blacksmith,
chapéu.
you want to be a great leather worker, we want to deliver the ability to
Eita.
invest time and energy into that.
Bem que
become a
falaram disso daí de
master
chapéu, né?
crafter, be able to make items that are in demand, interact with the community. One of the big pieces that we want to do to support that is a new work order system to have a bit more convenience than just spamming trade chat all day. But if you are someone, you're not yourself a blacksmith, but you have a bunch of mats and you want them forged into a great sword, you can put that work order up, list your mats, offer a commission, and a skilled blacksmith can come along and make you the weapon of your dreams.
Ah, vocês entenderam?
You can be a
Tipo-
Draktyr, go to Dragon Isles.
Você
and
não
I
precisa
have
mais ir
Dragon.
no
What's the
no
fantasy
chat pedindo
of
pra alguém
dragons,
fazer um
if
bagulho
not
pra você.
soaring over
Você joga
the
lá,
lands? And so we're
Tipo,
really
você joga
excited
na
to
H,
introduce a feature
alguém
on
vai
dragon
lá
riding. It's
e
dynamic
faz e ganha
with,
uma porcentagem de
everything from
gold,
memento
entendeu?
to dive bombs, the ability to just sort of build that speed up and feel the world rushing past you in a way that should be much more exciting than traditional flight that we've made available in the past, but that's also available for players through a customizable dragon mount right from the start.
So this is a skill you learn over time, right, to become an awesome dragon rider?
Yes, you'll be able to sort of upgrade aspects of your flight, but you will have this new form of flight from the start. And
Opa.
the dragon companion
Nova
that you
forma.
have is
Nova
of
forma
course,
de voo,
very thoroughly
dragão.
customizable, which is a new thing for us for mounts. This is not just a generic dragon that everyone has, but a drake that is yours. What do you want its scales to look like, horns, the shape of its head, other attachments, armor pieces.
Finalmente,
and
mas
more.
por que eles não
Make you
fazem isso pra
This
tudo?
is so cool.
So yes, the Dragonflight expansion is going to see players leveling to 70, going to the
vai
all-new
até pro
continent
70.
of the Dragon Isles, which consists of 5 zones,
5
4
zonas.
standard leveling zones,
4
and a
de
new starter
nivelamento
zone
e
for our
starter.
Drakthir class, as well as a range
Drakthir.
of systems revamps, such as a new talent system,
No
an
sistema
overhaul
de
and update
talento,
to our
revisão da
and an
UI.
entirely fresh look at professions with more depth than ever before. Also getting around the Dragon Isles is going to come in the form of dragon riding, which lets you customize and upgrade your own mount so that you can fly in a sense from the start. And of course, as with any new expansion, we have a new set of dungeons, a raid, and much more to come.
We
Tá,
also have
mostra
an
aí.
alpha that will be starting up in the future.
Check out our website for more information and keep an eye out for those opt-in signups if you want to help us test out Dragonflight and give us
Tá, eu
even
vou
more
testar
feedback
a
to
alpha,
make it better.
Blizzard, se vocês
We
derem
have
pra
a
mim.
deep dive that follows this, so please stay around. Classic players, we haven't forgotten about you. You could probably guess where we're going to
Ih,
go
lá
next.
vem o Lich King.
One of the all-time favorite expansions for World of Warcraft. Let's watch the cinematic.
Forgotten. Did you think
Jesus.
just begun? Not my king yet.
My son, the day you were born, the very forests of Lordaeron whispered the name
Arthas.
Arthas. When my days have come to an end, you shall be king.
A aventura clássica continua em 2022. Caramba! Esse ano mesmo, hein?
It's just incredible, isn't it? Every time I see the cinematic, I get chills. No pun intended, I get chills. As you saw, Wrath of the Lich King Classic is coming this year. It brings back so many memories. When you see that cinematic, what do you remember from Wrath of the Lich King?
Anytime you want to talk about undead frozen dragons, how can you not go back to Sindragosa as the source? That was the first expansion I played with my youngest son. So I can remember on that platform, black goo and chunks of ice falling off and having to repeat that battle with the Lich King. But when we finally downed him, it was such an incredible moment. He jumped up out of his room and I jumped up out of my office. We're like, yeah, did it. So it's a very lasting tale for me.
So as you know, with this expansion, you will, in pre-patch, be able to play the Death Knight. They will start at level 55. You don't have to have a high-level character to make a Death Knight, so everyone will be able to make one.
We're excited to give players some time before Wrath officially launches to get geared up and ready to jump into Northrend with everybody else.
And there are so many zones and areas to explore in Northrend, and I want us to talk about some of our favorites. So for me, Grizzly Hills has a very special place in my heart. The music was some of the best I've experienced in World of Warcraft.
Vamos ver se eles vão renovar alguma coisa ou vão deixar a mesma coisa.
And have yet to get it.
I've got to say Dragonblight. The wide open nature of the zone, Wormrest Temple in the center of it, it's an unforgettable expansion as both a developer and a player and kind of making that transition from one to the other.
Now let's talk about some changes.
Ah,
So one
mudanças.
thing we looked at is Dungeon Finder, and it feels like how we envision Classic, Dungeon Finder is not a good fit for our community.
That was kind of the first step that may have eroded some of that social fabric. Now, as people have gone through the experience of going back to vanilla, rebuilding those groups, relying on each other, not wanting necessarily a random participant just to show up and then leave.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
But today, you can do that in Shadowlands. You'll be able to do that in Dragonflight. It's a self-selected group of people who specifically want that different experience.
Yes.
Let's make sure that's what we continue to give them.
That leads right into arena teams in Burning Crusade Classic. So we listened to the community and we removed that because individual rating is preferable and a better experience for them than arena teams. Also, with Wrath of the Lich King, Barbershop, which allows you to customize your character. We're going to be adding a few more options that were not existing when Wrath launched, but also there's another side of this where we are not going to charge a real money fee. It was a paid character customization fee, right?
Yeah.
It seems the right thing to do that just be available in game for gold. And we
não vão cobrar gold pra você
It's sort of
mudar
like
na
spell matching in
barbearia.
a sense. There's a lot of technical advancements, and it's not about the
Grande
philosophy
coisa.
of what makes classic classic and what brings people together. It's just what's the better experience, and let's not artificially restrict something that we can provide a better version of just for the sake of nostalgia. And we're happy to say this is one of those cases.
So, Wrath, the level cap's being increased to level 80, so we'll be introducing a level 70 boost so that players who want to get in with their friends or just explore Northrend right away will be able to do that. You can't apply it to a Death Knight, but you will be able to use it otherwise. And of course, we have Inscription, a whole new profession, so we're really excited about that. Yeah, and as we continue this road to Wrath, we're going to be looking to getting a lot more feedback on beta, and we'll make changes as we need to.
Such an exciting time to be playing World of Warcraft. We have the return of the Wrath of the Lich King for classic fans and taking us somewhere new with Dragonflight. We're so excited to be able to bring these adventures to you. Don't forget, there's a deep dive on Dragonflight where you're going to get a lot more information. Thank you so much.
Não falaram data, hein?
And we'll see you in
Ih,
Northrend.
rapaz.
And in the Dragon Isles.
E acabou. Deixa eu ver, vamos ver.
Hi
Descendo a
there,
história.
welcome to the Dragonflight Deep Dive. I'm Steve Denuser.
And I'm Taryn Gregory. Starting it off here, we're going to talk about the setting and the story of Dragonflight.
Ah, tá,
We've
vamos
got this
falar mais
great
coisa.
expansion, exciting pre-render trailer that everyone just watched. So let's talk about the setting for Dragonflight, the Dragon Isles.
Dragon Isles have been known for a long time in Warcraft history as a mysterious place where the dragons came from long ago, but we never knew much more than that.
We're going to this place that is kind of the broodlands of all the Dragonflights, the place where they nested, where they built their civilization. The Dragon Isles was the center of the Dragon's kingdom when the world was young and the mortal races were just starting to form kingdoms of their own. But when the Legion invaded
pessoal, o que vocês
for that
acharam?
War of the Ancients, that sundering
Gostaram?
that resulted from the explosion of the Well of Eternity broke the world.
Literal sundering of the continents of Azeroth.
And because of the breaking of the world, that magic kind of drained away and the land went dormant. So they had to leave the Dragon Isles behind. And as we saw in the pre-render, they left behind some Titan Watchers to look over the land. And when someday they hoped that elemental energy would resurge once again and draw the dragons home, reestablish their kingdom.
And that's when the message goes out to the flights and they feel it in their bones.
Now it's the time for the sky to light up with the colors of the aspects once again, and for Alex Straza and the others to come home. But the land has changed a lot in all these thousands of years they've been away, and some very old threats have awakened as well.
We're looking into the culture of dragons as they exist in Warcraft.
Dragons, as we know them today, were very different in the early past, the early history of Azeroth. They were much more primitive, much more savage, what we now know as proto-dragons.
And then
Só
some
vou
of the
comprar
dragons
os
were
seus
empowered to
Morgans
become
leveling da
the aspects.
raid forem
Green
bonitos.
flight, red
Ai,
flight,
vai
blue
demorar pra
flight,
você saber, hein?
bronze flight, black flight, each with unique
Mas, gente,
powers,
assim
each
que
with
eu
the ability
conseguir,
to protect the world in different ways. These
pegar
pillars
o
of
alpha, eu
draconic
já-
power appointed to defend Azeroth
Eu já
from
vou aqui
threats
trazer pra
within and
vocês aqui,
without.
beleza?
Dragons used that power both for good, in the case of most of the aspects, but also for nefarious reasons in the case of the Black Dragonflight led by Neltharion, who would become Deathwing.
And what we will find in Dragonflight is that some of these ancient divisions run deep. And so it begs the question, where do we go from here? If this is an opportunity to reclaim their legacy, to be the protectors, as the cinematic mentioned, that they once were.
To do that, they're going to need the help of our heroes, our players, to come to the Dragon Isles with them and face some of these reawakening challenges, because it's not just that this land is peacefully waiting for the dragons to return and reclaim it. There's those old enemies that have awakened as well.
Yeah.
One of those being a race of kind of elemental half-giants, the Jarradin.
The Dragon Isles isn't just populated by dragons or just by the Jarden. There's also
não tem só
many
dragão.
other occupants here in the Dragon Isles that have been here either just recently or for a while, including a fan favorite coming back, the Tuskar.
That's going to be awesome. We've got other cultures there as well in the Dragon Isles. We're going to find out about a civilization of centaurs that predates the ones that arose on Kalimdor much later.
And some of our favorite characters that we've seen over the last few expansions, such as Rathian.
And whether he's ready to step up into a leadership role,
o
or
Rathian
if there are other alternatives out there that would be better suited to the job of being the aspect of the Black Dragonflight.
I think one thing the players are going to be really excited about this expansion is the new playable race, the Drakthir.
That's right.
And this is something that Neltharion, before he was Deathwing, before he went full crazy world dragon, that he put into motion?
Neltharion saw those primalists that were kind of breaking away from the aspects and what they wanted. And so, in those first experiments, he took the essence of dragons, their strength, their nobility, their wisdom, and he combined it with that scrappiness, that adaptability that the mortal races had. And he wanted to use that to create the ideal soldier in his mind, the Drakthir. Exploration is really one of the key themes of this expansion. We're going to be going to this ancient place that the dragons left behind long ago. So we've made these huge zones with all kinds of places to delve into and find little treasures and little secrets tucked away. It's going to be a lot of fun for players to be exploring these landscapes.
Ou seja,
there's so much architectural
zonas,
and how
né?
clearly aspirational is
4
the
de
kingdom of the
nivelamento,
dragons
mas
and how
pelo jeito que ele disse
it lost
enorme aí.
so much. And the themes of trying to return to that, to try to find your legacy, to try to figure out who you were before everything went awry. But there's questions, thematic questions of what does it mean to be true to your legacy? Are we going to repeat the mistakes of the past?
The dragons have had to learn those lessons just like the mortal kingdoms have had to. And I think that's one of the reasons why the dragons see this now as the time that they have to return and they have to step up once again as protectors of Azeroth. We're helping the dragons because the dragons have helped us in the past too. So by using the Explorers League and the Reliquary together, that allows us to delve into some of that history.
And when I look upon the Dragon Isles in all of its visual splendor, I get so excited for the prospect of a truly Azerothian adventure alongside Calicos, along with Rathian, Ebonhorn, with Sarah's daughter Marithra, as each one of them is trying to find their own flight. I am taken by the exploration and the potential for adventure and just new horizons within this world.
There's going to be old stories from that time past, that history that only the dragons knew for the longest time. We're going to be able to explore that.
It really feels like just a breath of fresh air.
So now we're going to turn things over to some of our colleagues who will take you on that deep dive into the locations and the features of Dragonflight.
Walking Shores.
Hello, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Josh.
I'm Jackie.
And I'm Gary.
And we're part of the teams that are building the first 2 zones that you'll encounter in the Dragon Isles, the Waking Shore and the Anaran Plains. The very first zone in Dragonflight you're going to come to is the Waking Shores. It's wild, untamed land. It's waking up around you too, and the elements are just going crazy.
The art team again has hit it out of the park.
You'll see like a lava mountain flowing in through the beach, giant proto-dragons swooping down, gobbling up members of your expedition.
We have such rife opportunities to show elementals rising up because of the crazy magic that's flying around.
The one of the things I love is just how you get to the Dragon Isles, right? So you're going to get on your boat in Stormwind or Orgrimmar.
Já foi
anunciado, sail between like the dragon ruin architectures. The boats come right alongside each other. You can jump from one boat to the other and just start causing havoc on the other patch's boat.
For those who love PvP, this is a great opportunity for War Mode.
It's free for all out there. It's going to be great. But it's okay. There's an innkeeper on the beach, so that if you're in that situation and you don't want to be in war mode anymore, you can just hop out right there.
The Reliquary and the Explorers League are working together.
The Horde and Alliance are sending an expedition together. It's not the military, it's not the soldiers. This is the scientists, the settlers, exploring this new land. So it's a lot more optimistic tone.
One of my favorite things about the Waking Shores is the Red Dragonflight, led by Queen Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder. They have the mandate of nurturing and protecting all life, which means Horde and Alliance, Gorloks, trolls, everybody. So they take that duty seriously. When the Horde and the Lions come to the Waking Shores, they want to be there to help guide the people through the new land and welcome them. But they're not the only one in the Waking Shores.
We have the ancestral home of the Black Dragonflight there too, which has fallen on tough times since Deathwing's descent. And so Rathian's coming over to the Isles with us, and he's gonna try and come to terms with the state of the Dragonflight, which is a few loyal Draconids and Dragon Spawn trying to hold their ground. What can the future of the Dragonflight be if it's just Rathian? Because it's not just the dragons that are coming back to the Dragon Isles, but also their longtime rival, the Jarden.
I love the Jardins so much. They're half giants that wield the power of magma. And when the Waking Shores and the Dragon Isles went to slumber, they also slumbered. They're back now, and they are ready to raise chaos.
Yeah, they're massive. They're riding giant lava mammoths, parading around, just stomping on your face.
And they were the enemies of the Dragonfly for so long. They fought against the Red Dragonfly, hunted dragons down, and they're really taking this opportunity to rise up. As the Red Dragonfly have the mandate of nurturing life, they don't want to just stomp out the Jarden completely, but they want to make sure that they don't have the power to affect those around them negatively, to make sure they don't go on a rampage and destroy the ecosystem that has been created here.
And so those are awesome things in the Waking Shore, but Steph, there really is only one right answer for the best thing in Waking Shores, right?
What?
This is true. Ducks.
We finally have those red feet hooligans in our game. We cracked the technology.
They can figure it out. They can fly.
You should be proud.
Thank you.
It's gonna be awesome.
The Onaran Plains come right after the Waking Shores. It's so breathtaking at first glance.
The Onaran Plains are big, wide open plains. And the player is going to be constricted a little bit, and then you see this big contrast of a zone. We don't always get that opportunity, that cinematic moment where the player can have a framed view when they see this area.
Come out and you got that postcard shot of the plains. And then you see this giant fire proto-dragon breathing fire, and a herd of centaur like harpoon down the proto-dragon and crash into the ground. And the first thing you get to do is go help them kill the proto-dragon. Like, how cool is that?
Who is Onara?
Onara is the wild god of the wind. And she's appeared before as like this big spirit eagle. She's the one who guided the centaur to the Dragon Isles many, many years ago. She blessed them, took their caravan across, and then showed them the plains.
How fun at the beginning of this expansion was exploring the culture of the centaur.
The centaur are these mighty, awesome hunters that back when they first came to the Dragon Isles, they fought the green dragons all day long. Eventually they realized that we're strong, you're strong, maybe we should stop decimating each other's people.
Essa especulação
we'll
não
make
viu.
peace, we'll make an agreement. You guys hang out in the groves and the centaur will hang out in the plains. But now the dragons have been gone for 10,000 years. And the centaur have come so far since then. And they've been here, and they've been existing and developing their culture. They all came over as one clan led by the mighty Maruk and Tira, and they founded a new life here. So if you want to get across, you have to follow their rules and their traditions. You have to earn their trust. You are the first outsiders to come in generations upon generations. The centaur might rule the open plains, but the green dragons make their home in the groves. And those groves are absolutely gorgeous.
And how great a job it is that we have where I can take all of this beautiful artwork and build these beautiful fantasy groves, high fantasy. We want to do lots of things with an open plain, and we want to be creative with them. But we're restraining ourselves by letting the zone sing, letting the horizon tell the story. We certainly couldn't have done that in the vanilla WoW.
No, definitely not. The zones are so big, and you can see so far, especially in Onaran Plains. So we talked to the engineers, and we actually increased that distance.
It spurs you on to want to adventure and look through the zone and explore everything.
The interesting thing for me is we have all these conflicts with dragonflights. There's missing dragons, there's battles, there's so much crazy stuff happening, but that's not really all we're doing. There's so much extra fun activities for people to do. And the greatest thing is that you need to figure out exactly what's going on and help solve all the problems that are just sprouting up everywhere.
We're just really excited to tell a story that's grounded in Azeroth and exploration. There's so much more to talk about. But now we're gonna have some folks talking about the next two zones that players are gonna experience in the Dragon Isles.
Azure Span Taldrazus.
Hello everyone, my name is Kate.
I'm Christy.
I'm Kate.
I'm Sean. We're going to talk today
Mas
about
é a primeira
Valdrassus and the
facção
Azure
Centauros
Span.
no...
So Azure Span is going to be the third zone that players adventure through, and it's one of our biggest zones that we've done in the Dragonflight, maybe even to date.
We knew it was going to be like the largest visual elevation change, and it really started with this great concept art. When we first were taking a look at the design, we kept coming back to one of our favorite Wrath zones, which was Grizzly Hills. And we really wanted to take that, but wowify it more. And I don't know if you've ever been up to the Bay Area, but in the morning, that coastal fog comes in and dips down into the redwoods and that sun shines through. That's really what we wanted to encapsulate with this forest. And not only we have redwoods, but we've got all different types of trees. Eventually, it'll break open into this wide open tundra that's just golden and red, and you'll reach up to another level of elevation where you get to see the snow. The majority of the zone covered in snow and ice. We have giant frozen waterfalls, ice rivers as far as the eye can see.
Essa do gelo vai ser
Sean, I
bonita,
know
hein?
in the forest, we can
Essa do
expect
gelo vai ser
our
bonita, hein?
first creatures.
We have a small group that lives there called the Gnolls. These gnolls are all throughout the forest and Azure Span. They've made this their home. Some gnolls with strange magic that we're going to find out what exactly that's about. Snow gnolls, or as I call them, the snolls, up in the winter area. And then some regular gnolls that are just going to be around the forest area. So then we go into the big open tundra where we meet our second group, the Tuskar.
It's going to be really neat to explore their culture a lot. And those kids are adorable.
I absolutely love the Tuskar. Honestly, all my downtime's probably just me hanging out with the Tuskar.
So it's been a little while since we've seen them. We remember the Tuskar.
Olha os leões aí de volta, gente.
They're also getting a nice, cool up-res for their models, along with expanding their culture. So there are going to be male Tuskar, female Tuskar, Tuskar kids. So we're going to fight alongside them, which includes help from a certain group of dragons, the blue dragons. We're going to follow the story of Kalagos, our blue dragon buddy from the Kirin Tor, and he's going to be adventuring into Sindragos' archives. It's a giant zone. There's a lot of surprises. When we're done there, we head over to Valdrassus.
Valdrassus. It's really incredible because you will be going through some of the previous zones and seeing a lot of ruins for the dragon buildings. But when you get to Valdrassus, everything is perfectly intact. It's beautiful, it's pristine. It is the seat of power for all 5 dragonflights.
Quem tem a vara de Caloá que levantou a mão?
It feels that way with the huge vertical mountains. We've got these great cave systems where you may end up finding little dragon hordes.
My favorite dragonflight right now is the Bronze. They've got a really cool area in Valdrassus, and their magic is time. There's so many cool story hooks that we could dig into there. There's so many cool gameplay options. And we have a little bit of an adventure for players. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I can't wait.
We really wanted it to feel like their old stomping grounds. One of the really cool features is going to be the main city and player upgrades expansion, Valdragon. It is a culmination of all of the dragon's efforts to put together what a city would look like. So we ended up having a bunch of really fun small vignettes where you can see that the blue dragonflight is hosting a public library, and the red and green dragonflights both have their own separate gardens. We'll also have some convenient services for players, including an auction house in the city, which will be really nice if you're looking for more exotic wares. The thing that really sold me on Valdrassus was the initial concept art we got of Tierhold.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And this is a 10,000-year-old Titan technological marvel. Tierhold has these awesome aqueducts that actually come out from the structure all the way to the city across the valley. And in the cinematic, there's just this amazing shot where you see Alexstrasza swoop under one of them, and there's splashes of water cresting across her wings. So when players are flying around themselves, they get to have their Alexstrasza moment. What an incredible place, and filled with so much history.
Tierhold was built by Tyr. He was a Titan Keeper back in the day who helped the Aspects fight Galakrond. And when they settled on the Dragon Isles, he built this facility. And even though Tyr's gone, the dragons have held him in reverence. But that was 10,000 years ago, and they've let the Titans maintain the place. An incredible amount of history has happened since then. Flights have been nearly wiped out. There have been invasions, betrayals. Aspects have died. And these are the kind of things that leave marks on a society. So now they're all back here, and they're all here together.
As we were designing the zone and the city itself, we're trying to figure out, how do we tell those stories at the same time as making sure that this is a really convenient place for players to go and, go shopping, as they tend to do. So much adventuring happening on the Dragon Isles.
It's so cool.
As a player, you probably don't have your own dragon wings. You are going to learn the art of dragon riding.
It's so vertical, and I'm just excited to like dive off the tops of towers and swoop under things.
It's actually one of the things that we're about to learn about next.
Hi, I'm Jake.
I'm Andy.
I'm Kali.
And I'm Graham. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about the Drakthir Evoker, our new race and class coming in Dragonflight.
We're here to talk about not only the Evoker, but also dragon riding, which is our exciting expression into the exploration of the Dragon Isles.
We knew with a dragon-themed expansion,
Uma coisa eu digo, Fabrício, agora com esses negócios de dragão,
not a big dragon,
tudo que tem dragão é
that'd be
possível.
tough to fit into raids. I'm sorry, Jake.
Okay.
I know.
Fine.
But a draconic humanoid. So the Drakthir, created by Neltharion.
And like our other hero classes, you get to choose if you want to start on the Horde or Alliance side on character creation.
So let's talk a little bit about the Evoker, the class they can be. What's unique about it is because the Drakthir are created by an aspect, they have the ability to wield the magic of all 5 dragonflights. So Evokers can take advantage of red magic and blue magic and bronze magic.
And to show that, we created a visual, what we call a prismatic effect. This prismatic effect is basically the coalescence of all their energy as they channel it into whatever spell that they're going to cast. You have a red magic spell called Pyre. So when you shoot it out of your mouth, it twirls in the air with all 5 of the Dragonflight's magic as it turns into the red spell before landing on your enemies and exploding and hopefully burning them up.
Getting that vibe across that they use all 5 was really important to us, but we did want to make sure that each specialization focused on 2, because casting 5 different colors gets a bit messy. So their damage dealer specialization, their first of 2, Devastation, mostly focuses on red and blue magic. Red being very fast and explosive, burning everything with Pyre, whereas blue is more focused and overwhelming. You can shoot a beam of energy out of your mouth to disintegrate one single enemy in front of you.
There's a healer spec called Preservation. The healer spec is going to focus mostly on your green and your bronze magic. So your green is going to be evocative of the Emerald Dream, your growth and your nurturing spells. And then you have your bronze magic, which is going to be more timey-wimey. So you get to heal a wound faster.
So in addition to the visuals and the animation, which I think feel very powerful, we really wanted the player to have a physical connection to the cast. We have a new type of spell called Empower, where when you actually hold down the button on your keyboard, it charges up the spell. The longer you charge it up, it might do more damage or hit more targets depending on the spell. But it gives you this really physical connection and control that's new for World of Warcraft, and I think is feeling really, really good.
We have some great animations. Thank you, Andy.
Você aperta o botão, segura, e o poder vai ficando mais forte conforme
you can actually fly around the battlefield and cast while you're flying.
Raining fire and death from above. It's great.
In addition to the gameplay, though, another part of feeling draconic is looking like a dragon.
Well, we talk about dragons breathing fire, but you know what's actually fire?
What's actually
These
fire?
customizations.
Oh my goodness.
But no, they're really, really good.
Customização.
Because you have both your draconic form and your humanoid form. And the customization options for both of them are amazing.
They're very good.
What about color? Just tell me you
tell
can
us about the
change
color. You can do a lot of matching. So your Visage form can have scales that are the same color as your Drakthir form.
But my favorite, super favorite part of customization for the Visage form, hair.
Yeah.
Because I can actually do this in game.
Yeah.
The tech is here.
We finally did it.
As players make their way through each of the areas of the Dragon Isles, they'll partner up with the Dragonflights to move through the air as they've never done before. You'll notice I did not say flying, because flight has a very specific meaning for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it does.
And we're talking about something new called dragon riding.
And as the players are honing their dragon riding skills, they're going to get to see all new animations that go along with the different look and feel of the drakes.
We're aiming to shake up movement with this new system, providing players with a deeper immersion with forces like momentum and gravity.
We knew that for Dragonflight, we were going to have the opportunity to show players a whole new set of Dragon Isle drakes, completely unique from all the other things they've seen in World of Warcraft. And so we wanted to come up with a movement system that would add that sense of physics, weight, and gravity, like you were mentioning. We knew it was going to take a huge team effort, not just animation, but it was going to take effects. It was going to take the engineering team, who we rely on heavily, and that combined with some new animations really helps to lend that feeling of physics as you move through the air in ways that you haven't before. And the icing on the cake is going to be some really cool effects that we've added on top of all of that. So for example, when you start hitting, maximum velocity, you're going to see contrails coming off the edges of the wings. And then as you do your rolls and spirals, you build up more and more speed. There's going to be some screen effects on the display to indicate that you're reaching maximum velocity, which really adds to the overall kind of immersion and sense of reality.
Não entendi. Isso é
As players make their way through the Dragon Isles,
voa,
they'll
pode
discover
ver.
new cosmetic options to fine-tune their Dragon Isle Drake's appearances. Things like snoots, horns, tails, elusive Dragon Isle Drake armor, and more.
Can I have spikes?
Definitely.
Okay.
We want to provide players with all new skills to play with, as those who can use their momentum well can reach higher and higher heights and bring on new, more difficult challenges.
We just have so many new, gorgeous options to choose from, and I'm just so excited for all of them.
I'm excited for the whole thing. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to work on, but I can't wait to actually get in the game,
tem algumas
play it with you
montarias que
guys.
quando você voa,
I can't
elas
wait to fly
fazem
around
uns
Dragon
bagulhos
Isles. This
assim,
is
ó.
great.
Next up, you're going to hear about the talent revamp and the UI changes coming in Dragonflight.
Eles estão refazendo tudo que os caras falaram lá, só que um pouquinho mais detalhado, né?
Hello, my name is Brian.
I'm Crash.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Laura. We are very excited to share you're finally revamping the WoW HUD UI.
And it is also time for a major revamp to talents and specializations.
I have a big question for the group. How long do you think it took for us to finally revamp the WoW HUD?
My guess is like 15 years.
Os caras mesmo estão se zoando, né?
18 years.
Wow.
You know, technology has changed a lot since we made the UI back in 2004. Now you have like bigger monitors, and us, we have better
Criamos
tools
não,
to
né?
work
Porque
with.
essa mina
So
aí,
it makes sense
pela
to have
cara
the
dela, ela
revamp
deve
right
ter a
now.
idade do jogo.
Also, if you look at the game today, the art evolved beautifully over the years. And if you look at the HUD looks like it got frozen in time.
So when we approached this, we wanted to create a layout experience that players could customize, move things around, adjust it to fit their needs.
Add-ons today, they do a lot for player customization.
The downside is that not everybody uses them. It's about time that everybody has the opportunity to use them, that they become a part of the base UI.
Yeah, and we are working very closely with our user research team to make sure we are hitting the goals that our player needs.
It allowed us to add new functionality, to improve accessibility in a lot of areas, and on top of that, we are going to be improving the art.
Yeah, so the art update, it's a big part of this project. The UI that we have today has a lot of charm and personality, and players have been using that for 18 years. So with that in mind, we want to respect the players who really like the current UI, but do a modern take to it, removing the clutter and giving more visibility for your gameplay. So the new minimap, it looks bigger, and the health bar is also much bigger. If you look at the action bars and the bottom menus, they have less health frames.
Aumentaram a barra lá de cima, hein?
It can really open up your gameplay, so you don't have a lot of your UI in front of you. And of course, we want to find iconic pieces from the current HUD, but we want to bring it back in a nice way. So we for sure updating the Griffins. They look so nice now. And the Horde, don't worry, we got you. We're gonna have your version as well. So let's talk about the edit mode.
We are putting a mode in that will let players move various HUD elements around on the screen.
So I'm able to move the mini-map, say, from the right corner all the way over to the left corner. If I want to bring my action bars from the bottom and kind of put them more in the center by my character, those are all things that I'll be able to do?
Absolutely. And each of those different components will have various sets of options that you'll be able to work with. They'll be able to save it, edit it, copy it, name it. Also, it'll remember which spec you're in. So if you're someone who jumps around a lot, as you switch, it will switch to whatever HUD layout you have for that spec.
This is an ongoing project. We're going to keep working on
então
it.
Vai dar para criar HUD especializado agora.
A project that we're all excited about, that we've been collaborating a lot on, is something that's pretty UI intensive.
Exatamente, Fabrício. Eles estão fazendo o que o Adão já faz.
Said before, and we really started with how can we have players have more choice over what their character has? As you level up, we give you a new spell or a new ability, something that kind of makes you stronger, but it's determined by the designers. We decide the order. Yeah, we started looking for a system that would give players a much wider set of options. And after looking at all those things, what we really returned back to was the idea of trees. but it's actually 2 trees. We have a class tree that offer different class utility, and then we have a spec tree that is focused on performing your role, whether that's damage, tank, or healing.
Can I just jump in and say that I personally am super excited about having trees come back. There's a big nostalgia hit for me.
As we said, we have these 2 trees because we feel like picking a specialization is a really important part of your World of Warcraft character now. And so we want to make sure that when you choose that, it kind of affects the tree in some way.
Yeah, as soon as you open your talent tree, you'll see something new. The class side will have some abilities filled out for free, just kind of starting you off in that spec you've chosen, but then you'll have your first point to spend in the class tree, which could be something related to that spec or role, or it could be something from elsewhere in the class.
There's a lot of things that we can do here, and part of that is encouraging players to perhaps make combinations that they've never really been able to see in the game before. This is an opportunity to put a lot more art and fantasy in the actual talent UI itself.
You have seen that a lot through most recent expansions, but not at the base UI.
We want you to be able to tinker with it. You know, we want you to be able to make a lot of changes at a lot of times and not necessarily have to commit. The power really is coming back to the player. It's not something we want people to feel locked into, and so one of the things that we'll be preserving is the ability to change these talents at the same kind of frequency that you do now.
Yeah, the old school players, when you see trees this time, just think, yeah, I'll go from my raid night to my arena match and figure out what I think is the best for both of those.
And that's a process we want to make really fluid. So we're building a save load feature that lets you create your build, name it, save it, and then load it up very quickly.
Talents were really about the breadth of options. We've made all these different cool things over the years, but when are they at their coolest? It's when players can hold the building blocks of what can make up their class, their spec, and put them together in a way that works for them.
So these are really cool features that we've been working long and hard on, and we're very excited about them. And it's just an early preview of the things we've been doing. We can't wait to see the reaction that you have to them, and please reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on them. And next up, we're going to talk about professions in Dragonflight.
Profissões. Ah lá, agora o bicho vai pegar. Vamos ver. Reformas de profissão.
Hi, I'm Joanna.
And I'm Eric, and we're going to talk about our plans for professions in Dragonflight. Professions have been a staple of World of Warcraft forever, and they've seen lots of really cool incremental updates over their life. But for Dragonflight, we want to do something a bit different. We really want to rethink professions and figure out how to make them part of your identity as a player, if that's what you want.
We really want to make sure that professions feel fun and relevant across all levels of gameplay.
That brings us to our first update, something that we're calling crafting orders. If you want to have something crafted for you, but you don't have the skill or the right profession to do it for yourself, you can have it crafted through a crafting order. You can basically browse any of the recipes that can be crafted, pick the one you want for yourself, and then you include some or all of the reagents needed for the recipe, including ones that only you can get your hands on. You can find someone in person to do it right in front of you for you. Or you can also go to an NPC and using an auction house-like interface, send the order out. If you're doing this, you can pick, do you want to send the order to anyone, sort of a public order, or do you want to only send it to your guild, or to a specific other player? Maybe it's a friend who you know will be able to craft the item really well for you.
If you are really dedicated to your craft, you're going to be the best at what you do.
One of the coolest things about this is the item you had crafted can also be soul-bound. In the past, you could only get your hands on crafted soul-bound items by having that profession yourself. Now anyone can have them crafted for them, which is really neat and really expands the number of items that we can provide that are really powerful because everyone can have a crafting order system.
This is also really cool because it means as a crafter, you can start building your client base. People are going to come back to you to get certain items. Maybe you're the best at making it, or you always throw in a little something extra. You're also going to be leveling up your profession. It's going to be really great.
So the first time you go to craft, you're going to notice a lot of different things, but probably the biggest is the introduction of quality, both to your crafted items and your gathered reagents. Quality works in a pretty simple way. If you craft something that's a higher quality, it's just going to be better. For a piece of gear, that probably means a higher item level. If it's, for instance, a potion, that might mean a more powerful effect at a higher quality.
And we're doing a lot of new things in the UI. We've put a lot of work into it to make sure that the professions feel really special and unique.
And another thing you might notice in the crafting UI that's new is the introduction of stats, specifically to your professions, both crafting and gathering. And this is another sort of major input into quality. Probably the biggest source of your ability to craft items at a higher quality is through crafting specializations. We've had crafting specializations in the past.
Eu queria que eles mudassem
a
interface de addons, que é uma merda.
You can go out and earn specialization points in a whole bunch of different ways. So maybe you find an old book on a bookshelf in a ruin somewhere, or a hermit in a cave who can teach you a little bit about your profession. So let's say you're a blacksmith, and you might decide that first you want to become an armor smith. And the more points you spend in armor smithing, the better you're going to get at crafting all armor.
This also means that if you specialize one way, other people in your guild may specialize in a completely different path. So this means
vai ter
that your
agora dentro da profissão vai ter especialização, digamos assim.
And valuable to the team, which is really cool.
Now that reminds me of another update. We're actually adding crafting tables to all the different crafting professions.
Mesas de criação.
We're going to take those and we're going to put them all in the main city of Valdrakken. And you're going to go in there and you're going to get to see all the different players crafting their items at their cool crafting tables.
Yeah, it means you're going to walk into the city and you're going to see like all these alchemists huddled over here, and you're going to see all these blacksmiths over by the forge. There will be other players filling orders or grabbing orders. There's going to be a whole new crafting area that's going to make you feel really part of the world.
It just seems like a much more lively area than it has in the past.
What I'm most excited about, though, is the gear. We're introducing new types of gear for every profession, and when you go to, say, mine a node, you're actually going to just switch into that gear. It's going to be really great.
You're not going to have to carry that stuff around in your backpack anymore.
Com essas texturas aí, pelo amor de Deus, hein? Textura de papel continua, hein?
But I'm a numbers guy. I love progressing. All pieces of profession gear will have those special stats that we mentioned before on them. And as you get your hands on better versions of the gear, it's really going to help you get better at your profession.
I can't wait.
Thank you for tuning in to the Dragonflight Deep Dive.
You've heard a lot about the content and changes coming in Dragonflight, and we've got a lot more in store for you in the coming months.
Until then, we'll see you in Azeroth.
Acabou? Será que acabou? Acho que acabou, hein, gente? Eu acho que acabou. Acabou. Deixa eu colocar... Deixa eu colocar aqui de volta no jogo. Especializações tinha já, no LK mesmo tem. Gente, deixa eu colocar aqui o som do jogo. Bom, vamos lá, vai. Vamos falar um pouquinho aqui sobre o que a gente foi apresentado, né? Bom, começando pelo início, né, que foi a cinemática, né? A cinemática nos trollou até aquela hora que o cara ia cair, né? Eu falei, não é possível que não vai ser dos dragões depois de tanto que vazou, né? Aí vem o dragão, pai, eu falei, já era. Aí beleza, né? A gente soube que é dos dragões, tal. As áreas, né? Pelo que eles falaram que são 5 áreas, uma inicial e 4 que a gente vai jogar, o que eles mais ficaram repetindo, nossa, é grande, hein? A área é grande. Nossa, a área é grande, viu? Viu? A área é grande. Umas 5 pessoas ali da live ali falou que a área era enorme. Se a área é tão grande assim, então, tipo, deve ser gigantesca mesmo, porque, ó, se você for ver bem, ó, vamos ver os mapas aqui do World of Warcraft, ó. Vamos lá. Ó, esse aqui é Shadowlands, né? Você vê que é tudo separado, né? Eles não mostraram o mapa, né? Pra ver se era tudo junto. Eles não mostraram o mapa, né, gente? Bom. Aqui nós temos, vamos ver aqui, deixa eu ver. Draenor, por exemplo, ó. Draenor nós temos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tem 7 áreas aqui em Draenor. Só que os mapas aqui, digamos assim, o maior deles eu acho que é na Grande e eu acho que o Vale da Lua Negra, né? Vamos lá, Terra Além, então. Nível Nortúndria. Nível Nortúndria? Deixa eu ver. Vamos ver se é nível Nortúndria. É grande só de boca. Pode ser grande só de boca mesmo, né? Mas assim, são só 4 áreas de nível e uma inicial, né? Vai até o nível 70 o Net Sub-Zero. Então, Pensando no que eles falaram, se for realmente grande mesmo, tem que ser maior que Northunder, né, gente? Northunder aqui é o que parece maior, ó. Só que, por exemplo, ó, Picos Tempestuosos aqui, ó, que é o maior. Tem muita montanha. Tem muita montanha, certo? Então, tipo... Se for grande mesmo, do jeito que eles estavam falando, tem que ser maior que esses mapas aí. E jogável, mais jogável, né? Que as montanhas e o restante não atrapalhem tanto assim, né? Acabei de ver a live lá, não gostei tanto não. Vai ter classe nova sim. Sim, vai ter classe e raça nova, né? Que é os... Como que chama? Draki... Ainda não sei, em português é Drakfear, né? É Drakfear. Acho que chama Drakfear. Deixa eu ver aqui no site do World of Warcraft se tem alguma novidade aqui já, gente. Pera aí. Vamos lá. Tá, eles já mudaram aqui pro trailer. Dragonflight, por enquanto não está em português, mas nós sabemos que parece que vai ser Alma Dracônica, né? Lembrando também que vai ter o Lich King esse ano, né? Deixa eu ver aqui se eles colocaram alguma coisa na loja aqui. Bom, na loja não tem nada de novo, hein? Deixa eu ver. Ah, rapaz, claro que tem. Olha aqui, peraí, deixa eu colocar pra vocês verem aqui. Não tem a expansão, mas olha só isso aqui. Ó. Pra quem aí não comprou, lembra que outro dia eles fizeram uma promoção e acabou a promoção do Shadowlands? Olha aqui, ó. Voltou, hein? Voltou a promoção de novo, ó. Cadê? Ué, peraí, tava... Tá 54 aqui? Não, eu vi o que eu vi. Volta aqui, tio. Olha aqui, gente. Aqui tá 54. Acho que abril de 2023 saiu Dragonflight, mais tardar. Talvez dezembro. Então, eu vinha falando nas minhas lives que ou é dezembro ou é fevereiro, tá? Eu acho abril muito longe. Sabe por quê? Porque, tipo, em abril, se eu não me engano, já vai ter feito 3 anos de Shadowlands. Eles só tem lá o 9.2.5 e provavelmente não tem mais nada depois disso, entendeu? 54 dólares ou reais? Reais, gente, ó, BRL é reais, ó. Tá vendo aqui, ó? Deixa eu aumentar pra vocês verem, ó. Vou dar um zoom pra vocês verem aqui, ó, que eu não tô mentindo, ó. Tá aqui, ó, 54 BRL, ó. Ó, tá vendo? Só que quando você clica aqui e entra pra comprar, ó, tá 124. Tá errado isso aqui, hein? Ah, que Epic Edition. Ah, Base Edition, tá certo. Explica sobre os valores, quanto é por mês, etc. Eu jogo no Firestorm porque é meio salgado original. Então, a mensalidade é 80... Não é uma mensalidade, né? Você paga por 2 meses. Então, tipo... são 84 reais. Infelizmente, eles não deixam mais por mês, né? Cadê? Deixa eu ver aqui. Mensalidade. Será que eles diminuem? Vamos ver se eles diminuíram aqui. 54 reais, gente. Tá 54 reais a expansão. Já volto lá pra vocês verem de novo. Olha aqui, ó. 84 reais, ó. Ó, vou colocar aqui pra vocês verem aqui. Esse aqui é, ó, 60 dias por 84 reais. Tá? Então são 2 meses por 84 reais. Aí aqui, ó. Vou voltar lá pra vocês verem. A versão básica aqui tá R$ 54,90. Versão Heroic, R$ 84,90. E versão Epic Edition, R$ 124,90. Entenderam? Qual a diferença da base para Epic, ó? Vamos lá, vamos descer aqui, ó. Ó, comparando produtos. Ó, versão básica. Você pode... você vai ganhar todas as expansões até o Shadowlands, né? Que é a última agora. E a montaria do Wandering Ancient deve ser essa daqui, ó. Cadê? Deixa eu mostrar pra vocês aqui. É que eu tenho que voltar lá no jogo. Pera aí, deixa eu voltar no jogo. Essa montaria aqui, ó. Essa aqui, ó. Anciente do Andarilho, ó. Você ganha essa montaria aqui, certo? Aí, na versão Heroic, você ganha Shadowlands, a montaria. Você ganha um boost pra upar já direto um personagem pro level 50. Em Sorless Environment Flying Mount. Não sei o que é isso. Peraí, deixa eu ver aqui. Não sei o que é isso. Deixa eu traduzir aqui. Ah, você ganha uma outra montaria, ó. Uma outra montaria que eu não sei. Eu não sei qual montaria que é essa aqui, não. Eles querem que você assine de todo jeito para ficar mais barato. Mas no fim é difícil jogar toda hora sem parar. Sempre vai esquecer um mês ou outro. Você não precisa comprar as expansões antigas para jogar. Basta pagar a mensalidade. Isso é verdade, Fabrício. Se você pagar a mensalidade lá de 2 meses, você pode jogar de boas. Você joga até o BFA, você não joga Shadowlands, né? Mas, por exemplo, você joga até BFA e toda a sua progressão vai ficar ali. Se você comprar Shadowlands, você vai continuar Shadowlands. Entendeu? Então vamos lá, ó. Aí tem... Por que isso aqui não tá em português, hein? O Blizzard. Tem isso daqui, ó. Um transmog. Um transmog do Eterno Viajante, que é isso aqui, ó. Cadê? Pera aí. Eu acho que dá pra ver aqui pela loja. Deixa eu ver. Deixa eu mudar de novo aqui rapidão. Ó, esse aí é o transmog do Eterno Viajante. Tá vendo? Tem uns dois que eu não comprei ainda, esses dois. Eu não comprei, ó. Tem um transmog, esse daqui, ó. Esse transmog aqui. E esse eu não comprei nenhum dos dois. Nenhum dos dois. Pretendo comprar, mas não agora. Sim, só comprar o... se eu comprar o básico quando começo a pagar a mensalidade, ou tenho que comprar o Base Edition e já pagar o valor da mensalidade. Tem que comprar e pagar a mensalidade, senão você não adianta não. Para eles estarem dando desconto de 50%, deve ser porque vai sair logo a nova expansão. Pois é o que eu tô suspeitando também. Se eles voltaram aqui, deixa eu voltar aqui para a página. Vamos continuar aqui, ó. Isso aqui é a vestimenta do Eterno Viajante. Esse aí esse aqui é o que tem Heroic Edition. Agora vamos a versão épica. A versão épica tem tudo até o Heroic Viajante. Aí tem esse daqui, ó. O Right Cosmic Weapon, que eu não lembro o que é, deixa eu ver. Efeito de arma cosmética Right, que eu não sei. Eu tenho a versão épica e não sei que efeito que é esse daí. Engraçado, por que eu não tenho isso daqui, ó? Ah, não, eu tenho esse daqui. Eu tenho esse daqui. Para jogar ouro no level 50, só precisa de pagar a mensalidade. Para o level 60 precisa de expansão. É aqui, a gente disse aqui. Eternal Traveler Hearthstone. Isso aqui é a pedra de retorno, né? Uma pedra de retorno. Ó, você ganha 30 dias de jogo e ganha um pet. Então é isso, ó. Com o Epic Edition, você ganha 30 dias de jogo já. Por isso que eu jogo o server PV Blizzard muito mercenário. Pois é. Mas isso tende a acabar com a Microsoft, né? Todos nós esperamos que isso acabe com a vinda da Microsoft, porque aí não vai ter sentido. Eles têm que pôr o WoW no Game Pass, né? Não vai ter sentido o WoW não estar no Game Pass. Então, o Game Pass sendo R$29 por mês, além de você poder jogar o WoW inteiro, né? Todas as expansões e tudo mais, você vai poder jogar outros jogos também, né? E outra, no Game Pass é por mês, né? Não é cada 2 meses. Deixa eu mudar aqui pro jogo. Rapaz, eu caí numa trap deles o ano passado. Eles deram um desconto de 80% no Shadowlands. E depois de uma semana fizeram essa mudança de mensalidade. Ou assinar 40 e pagar 84. Não vai estar no Game Pass? É uma pergunta ou uma afirmação? É uma afirmação, né? Mas... provavelmente eu acho que só no final do ano, o Kilma. Se bobear, ano que vem só. É que assim... ainda não está 100% confirmado, né? Que vai pro Game Pass. Vamos continuar, tá? Vamos continuar. Então é o seguinte. Primeiro eles trollaram a gente, né? No trailer lá, parecia que não ia ser não ia ser do dragão, aí foi, certo? Aí o que veio mais? Vamos lá. Veio a nova raça, né? Nova raça barra classe, que... bom, na verdade, assim, alguns rumores podem estar certos, mas que não veio nessa apresentação, né? Então, tipo, porque, por exemplo, tem rumores que havia um monte de nova classe, raça e etc. Provavelmente pode ser que venha, mas não agora no começo, né? Então... o que acontece? Essa aí nova dos dragões parece interessante, gente. Eu achei interessante. E é claro que eu vou fazer. Aliás, eu não vou... gente, é o seguinte. Quando lançar a próxima expansão, eu não vou fazer de primeira o dragão, tá? Não vou upar de primeiro o dragão, porque eu sempre upo de primeira o meu personagem. Upado o meu personagem para o nível 70... então eu vou upar um dragão. Aí sim. Mas podem ficar sossegados que eu vou upar aqui em live o dragão, tá? Mas a primeira A primeira coisa que eu vou fazer, você acha o quê? Eu vou entrar no jogo e vou criar um dragão, né? Pra deixar já ali, né? Criado. Acho que Leaks só não teve house. Não teve house. Não teve ou não pode, não vai ter, né? Quer dizer, não teve ou vai ter depois. Ou não vai entrar no Game Pass, pode entrar na loja assim. Você acha que não vai entrar? Eu acho que vai. Eu acho que vai. Não tem sentido não entrar no Game Pass. Sabe por que não tem sentido? Eu vou explicar, Kilma. Se você tem primeiro, você adquire uma empresa do tamanho da Activision Blizzard e você tem um sistema de vendas bem melhor do que o da Activision Blizzard, né? Aí você fala, mas a Activision Blizzard ganha muito dinheiro com a loja. Ganha. Só que a Microsoft ganha mais, mesmo a loja deles não sendo uma beleza de sistema. Aí você fala, como assim ganha mais? Ganha mais por causa do Game Pass, gente. O Game Pass, gente, parece barato, não sei o que lá, mas é muito mais gente que assina, entendeu? Eu achei interessante tudo, a execução. Lembro que na época do MOP todo mundo zoou o anúncio, acharam que ia ser uma merda de expansão. Aliás, como tá funcionando os Classics, Vanilla e TBC? Puta, não sei, cara. Não sei porque eu não tô entrando. Mas assim, eu vou fazer o seguinte. Quem quiser, quando lançar o Lich King, a gente pode jogar junto. Porque, sinceramente, vai jogar tudo de novo o Lich King sozinho vai ser um saco, né, gente? Então, quem quiser, vem jogar junto. Eu vou jogar. Eu não prometo que eu vou ficar jogando o tempo todo, tá? Vou fazer uma live ou outra e tal, então... Aí a gente joga junto, tá? E a gente pode fazer as coisas juntos. O mobile foi anunciado ou não? Não foi anunciado. É um time diferente que cuida do Classic, se não me engano. Ao que parece ali, tem um time para cada coisa ali, né? E um time pequeno, vocês viram ali. A não ser que eles seriam os líderes, né? Porque você viu que na mesa ali só sentava 3 ou 4, né? Ô, gente, é o seguinte. Hoje vai ter mais live, tá? A partir das 19 horas. E a gente vai discutir mais sobre a nova expansão, né? Eu vou matar o Sword Boss aqui. Mas ainda assim, continuando o que a gente tá falando, depois dessa nova raça e classe dos dragões aí, o que eles mostraram? O HUD, né? Eles mostraram o HUD lá. Gente, eles mostraram o HUD, mas foi... Se eles fizeram só aquilo que eles mostraram de mudança, foi uma mudança muito superficial. Muito. Eu não... Tem muita coisa para mudar na interface do jogo. Muita coisa mesmo. O que vocês acharam da mudança do HUD? Eu sei que muita gente falou, já tem addon, não sei o que lá. Mas, mano, não é melhor, às vezes, já ter direto no coisa da Blizzard? Porque aí fica dando aqueles erro lua, é mó saco. Aqueles erro lua lá. Não é mó saco aqueles erro lua? Então... Puta, tem que ser um animal puxando o bicho. Gostei que as árvores de talento irão voltar, né? Acho que tava precisando, mas espero que mantenha a opção antiga. Então, mas... Ó, muita coisa. Não é só aquela parte que eles mostraram que precisa mudar. Muita coisa precisa mudar. Muita coisa mesmo. Que nem, por exemplo... Vocês sabem que onde a gente organiza os addons... não tem addon que organiza addon, né? Então, tipo... Se você, às vezes, quer tirar todos os addons... E depois, por exemplo... Você coloca um addon lá... Aí tem lá o nome do personagem que coloca o addon. Só que se você... depois vai com outro personagem... Se depois você vai lá com outro personagem... E coloca o nome do personagem que você já fez um addon, não funciona. Não funciona. Não funciona. Então tem muita coisa que nem... Deixa eu mostrar aqui, ó, a interface, ó. Esse tipo de interface tem que mudar. Isso aqui tá... Mano, isso aqui tá muito antigo já. Tá feio, entendeu? Muda essa interface aqui, entendeu? Deixa mais... mais com a usabilidade melhor, ó. Entendeu? Tá muito feio isso daqui, muito mal feito, ó, entendeu? Eu sei que assim fica mais leve e tudo, mas mesmo assim é muito mal feito, entendeu? Tipo, a usabilidade dele tem que ser melhor, entendeu? Que nem, por exemplo, se isso aqui, se efeitos sonoros, se ativar som e sons de expressão tá dentro de efeitos sonoros, você tem que colocar tipo um bagulhinho do Windows, aquele maisinho, mais e menos, assim, sabe? Outra coisa que nem, por exemplo, addons. Aqui, ó, tá vendo addons aqui, ó? Tá vendo esse tudo aqui? Aí tem palapão aqui, certo? Isso aqui, quando você entra no jogo, tendo todos os seus personagens. Só que se você coloca uma personalização de addons, não funciona. Não funciona, entendeu? Que bom que voltou, até porque nível 70 de novo. Então, o Rimuru, então, vai voltar pro nível 70 e aí vai chegar no 120 e eles vão voltar de novo. Então, tipo... Isso aí não tem o que dizer, né? Mas assim, falando da árvore de talento lá... Vai escrevendo o que eu tô falando. Escreve o que eu tô falando. Vai ter muita gente que vai começar, nossa, que saudade da árvore de talento. Aí vai ter muita gente que vai entrar e falar, caramba, mano, que bagaça, que monte de bagaça é essa? Aí o cara, árvore de talento, não sei o que lá. Vai ter muita gente que não vai saber e não vai ter muita paciência pra ficar um por um. Esse combinado com esse é melhor que esse, não sei o que lá. Então, tipo, vai continuar aquelas perguntas no chat. O que é melhor? Qual árvore de talento é melhor pra, sei lá, mago de fogo? Aí o cara vai falar assim, copia de tal fulano. Vai acontecer isso. Vai acontecer isso de novo. Vocês querem apostar ou não que vai acontecer isso de novo? Não tem nada demais. Só que o que eu quero dizer é o seguinte. Eles têm que colocar as coisas de um jeito que fiquem bem entendível para as pessoas. Porque se ficar bem entendível, as pessoas não vão, tipo, copiar do fulano tal, entendeu? Porque às vezes é difícil para uma pessoa que está iniciando entender que isso com isso fica melhor com isso, que aí o cara tem que ficar aí treinando no boneco, entendeu? DK não tem mais combinação de build, Ai. Galera, é o seguinte. Eu quero agradecer aqui vocês. Muito obrigado aí pela presença de todos na live aqui de apresentação da nova expansão. Foi o que a gente esperava, né? Pra ser sincero, né? Mas é o seguinte, 19 horas, hoje 19 horas, eu estou de volta com a live do dia do Reset, tá, gente? 19 horas estarei aqui novamente. Espero que vocês possam comparecer aí novamente, tá? Então, quem puder ir, volta aí 19 horas e a gente vai continuar daqui, ó, com o personagem daqui, tá? Continuando aqui fazendo as coisas do dia do Reset. E é isso daí, galera. Não se esqueçam de se inscrever no YouTube, tá? E também seguir na Twitch. Quem puder fazer isso, já agradeço bastante. Quem ainda não é inscrito, tem muito conteúdo sobre World of Warcraft lá e outros jogos, tá, gente? Tá, galera? Por momento é isso daqui, tá? Eu vou ficando aqui nessa live. Então a gente se vê às 19. Um abraço a todo mundo aí, ó. Vou falar os nomes aqui do pessoal aqui, ó. Um abraço pro Rimuru, Antônio, Note Sub-Zero, o Clima, Lostzão, Fabrício, Antônio. Cadê que hoje o pessoal falou, hein? Deixa eu ver, descer aqui mais. Tá, tem muita gente aqui. Gabriel Henrique, Alex Borges, Fernando Medeiros, Becker. Bom, tem muito texto hoje. É isso daí, gente. Muito obrigado. Espero vocês às 19 horas. Então, isso dá, até a próxima. Falou!